Welcome to Living on the Dirt. Today, this video is solely on the Arizona Trail and everything you need to know if you're about to do section hiking or through hiking the entire trail. It was just last year, me and my hiking partner hiked the Arizona Trail in 2017. It's a funny story. We didn't realize we were going to hike the trail until 2 weeks prior. So we had 2 weeks to prepare for this trip, literally do nothing about the Arizona Trail. I couldn't tell you anything except that it went from Mexico to Utah. That was it. And I found out that YouTube had very little amount of information, so I want to make this video special for you guys. So there is definitely one video out there that really goes into detail. So let's get into that. Water. Let's start with water. Depending on the previous year, or the last few months rather, depends on how good of a season you're gonna get with water. So if it was dry winter, then the spring's not gonna be as flourishing with water. So what most people do is there is southbound hiking and northbound hiking. Southbound hiking, you're going from the Utah border to Mexico, and you generally start in October. And then the northbound hiking, which is what I did, is you start in Mexico and go to the Utah border, and people start at the end of February, beginning of March. Now with both of these, people generally go in like a 2-week period. And what's crazy about the Arizona Trail is only about 100, maybe 150 people do it a year, and it breaks up into two. Most people either do it in March or October. So with that said, you're probably only going to meet 50 to 60 through hikers on your experience, which is insane. That brings me into my next point is there's not many existing campsites, and you're gonna have to learn how to makeshift your own campsite, and trust me, you will get better at this. I first did not like it at all. I was strung up on where are the existing campsites, and they're just so far few in between, and I would always get nervous that I just wasn't going to find one when I was ready to be setting up for the night. And chances are, most of the time when you're ready to make camp, you're not going to just all of a sudden find an existing campsite. You're going to have to makeshift your own. Now with that, if you don't know what Leave No Trace is, read up on that. And you definitely want to strive for the goal of leaving the campsite exactly the way it was before you saw it. But going back to water, it is dry in some areas, and you really need to make sure you have enough water on the stretches you are going. So one big tip, the biggest tip that I could give you guys, is the research that I did. Pretty much everyone told me to get this book, and it's a good book and you can get it, but don't take it on the trip with you. Do not carry this 3-pound book with you on the trail. I did, stupid mistake. I ended up shipping it home. But what you should get, what every person should get, is there's an app that you can download on your phone called the Arizona Trail app, and it's $10. It's good forever, and it is amazing. This will save your trip. It's going to list every water source, the elevations, and then you're in a community. So when you sign up, you make a profile, and every other through hiker signs up and makes a profile, or a section hiker make a profile. And then when you go to a water source, when you go into town, you can like type, oh, water source was great and it's flowing and this is the date, and that's it. So now when you're hiking the trail, it gives you all the information you need, where the next towns are, your resupply points. It is amazing. And you can scroll up and find out where your next water sources are and see what condition they're in. And I mean, it is just an up-to-date resource that will make or break your trip. Plus, there is a GPS on there. I had my phone on airplane mode the entire time because I wanted to conserve my battery, and it was able to pick up my location the entire time. Alright, into passage 3. Walking to Patagonia. Yesterday we froze our ass off
at the campsite. Woke up this morning, everything was covered in frost. First leg of the race, you really only need to pack for about, we can't even count it as a full 5 days, because our first day was only a half day, so it only took us 4.5 days, and we did 7 miles the first day, because it was only half a day, 10 miles the second day, 12 miles the third day, 14 miles fourth day, and now it's 14.5 miles to get to Patagonia, and we'll do that today.
Wow.
You really have to look out for signs. We already got turned around once and been confused at quite a few spots. You also go through a lot of cow pastures, so you meet a lot of cows along the way. Say hi, Daniele.
Hey, Mom.
Another big thing to talk about is Trail Angels. Trail Angels is huge on the Appalachian Trail and Pacific Crest Trail, but they are also huge on the Arizona Trail. And there's even a website you can go to. I have it saved on my computer. It is called theaztrail.org/Trail Angels. All of the Trail Angels are actually listed, and it shows which town they're out of and then what they will do for you. It's a great resource, so you can, you know, call them up on the phone and say, hey, I'm gonna be to Pine in 4 days. You think you can meet me at the trailhead and I can stay at your place? Lots of people let you take showers and do your laundry. And with this said, they really do a lot for us thru hikers, and if you can at all, try and think of something of how to repay them back. They're so nice and just so amazing what they do for you on the trail. It's a blessing. If anyone's a trail angel out there, thank you so much.
I made it to Vail and taking a 0 day, which feels amazing. Washed my hair and washed my clothes, but there is nowhere to stay in Vail. The only place is Colossal Cave Campground. We met these Trail Angels, and that's where we are staying. This nice couple ended up taking us in. I have a couple blisters, and I've got a sore left knee, and my right foot, my Achilles tendon is hurting pretty bad. So my advice is to stretch before you hike, especially stretch your like near your ankle. And every couple hours, I usually massage my feet and roll my ankles.
How do you like the Arizona Trail so far?
It's hard as shit, but it's well worth it.
Hard as shit.
Band-aids.
And why did you get on top of that tree?
I don't know. Because it sounded fun at the time.
Yeah?
It's still fun.
Yeah, it is fun, I guess. Yeah, this is our camp spot. And we have fire over there. We have wood for fire.
Yeah, not our fire yet.
No, not our fire yet, but wood for fire.
This is Colossal Cave.
It's Colossal Cave, and it's called Selvilla Picnic Area.
Mile 122.
Yeah.
Woo!
So we did more than 1/8 of the way.
Yay!
Yay! There you go. Hi, Shelly. What are you doing in the water? I thought you were in the desert.
Oh no, it's a little oasis.
Are you soaking your feet and your butt?
Yeah, it feels so good.
We're having a beer here as well.
So what's this river?
This river is called the Rincon Creek. So we're about less than half a mile outside the Saguaro National Park.
Okay, so I'm in Saguaro National Park right now. If you're going northbound, you can camp right at Rincon Creek, which is 0.2 miles away from the border. And then you have a little less than a 6,000 feet climb up to the top. But you could either stay at Grass Shack Campground or Manny Campground, which is where I stayed. It's almost at the top. And then if you stay at Manny Campground, it's a tough climb all day. It'll be like, I think it's the toughest climb of the whole Arizona Trail minus the Grand Canyon. But then you only have like a 500 feet climb the next morning. The last stretch is super hard to follow. I had a GPS and I still went off track. So you just have to be really careful. Saguaro National Park is super pretty, but it's gonna be one of the toughest days you have on the trail.
You're dragging your backpack on the ground like that.
Yeah, the only way I can pass. It's too heavy. Arizona Trail. Woo!
You're over. Oh, Shelly,
Hiking.
what are you doing?
Drinking beer on the trail.
Are you? Where did you get the beer?
Oh, what campground were we? We just passed the campground after Sahara and met these really nice people, and they're like, oh my god, you're hiking the Arizona Trail, is there anything you need? And we're like, no, it's okay. And they're like, how about a beer? And I'm like, yes, we need beers. The sun's going down. It's probably around 3 or 4-ish, and got about another like 9 miles to go, but fuck it, we're just gonna drink beer the whole time.
Cheers to you.
Happy trails.
Points. This is what most people get strung up on when they do a thru hike. You know, some people just they've never done a thru hike, so they don't even know what really that means. And all it means is when you're walking on your hike and you're getting to your resupply points, that you have a box waiting for you that you already sent out with the food that you want to eat, with extra supplies that you need. And when you backpack for 5 days, you go to a town, you get in a box, you backpack for another 5 days, you go to town, you get your box, and it's just a way for you to stay organized on the trail and eat what you want to eat and have extra gear sent up. That's what most people use it for. The Arizona Trail, you obviously can do resupply points, but you do not have to, and that's one big thing that I learned. And I had a box shipped to every single resupply point, and that cost so much money. And like what the internet said was that a lot of the small towns don't have like enough options to resupply, and I found that every single one I was able to resupply at. So if I were to go back and do the trail again, I would not send one box. But if you're like a really picky eater and are on a really strict diet, then I would send the boxes. But other than that, you're fine, and it's gonna save you a lot of money. People say it saves you a lot of money doing resupply. I completely disagree, but I'm also from New York, and it costs a lot to send the boxes from New York to Arizona. So maybe if you're more centrally located, then it might not cost as much, but for me it costs more.
So with hiking the Arizona Trail, because you know it's 800 miles, I try and set small goals for myself every single day. So like the night before, I'll look at the miles and be like, okay, you know, my goal is, 17 miles to this reservoir to camp. And most of the time, I do a good job of making those goals, but sometimes you just don't reach those goals, and it's okay. Sahara, I got turned around, so I got a bit lost and had to find my way out, so that set me back. Then today, I fell into a cactus, so that set me back. And I met a bunch of mountain bikers that fed me beer for a few hours, so that set me back. My advice is, make small goals, but don't get discouraged if you don't reach your goal every single day, because you want to enjoy the trail. So when someone stops and talks to you, stop and talk to them. If someone offers you beer, drink the beer, and just enjoy every minute of the trail. A lot of people rush it all the time, and it's not worth it. There's a lot of battles that you run into, and it's just not worth doing this trail if you're miserable. So my advice is take your time, enjoy the trail, set small goals, and have fun. Almost completed the entire southern section. For the southern section, my favorite restocks. Patagonia was really nice. It just was expensive for sleeping arrangements, but the food prices were pretty good. Yeah, I got lucky with Trail Angels, but if I didn't have them, it was just really, spaced apart and far off trail. And then there's even a ranch right before you hit Oracle where you can stay at. You can stay with this family. 2 people said they stayed with them, and they said the people were really nice, and they took really good care of them, so there's that option. So on the southern section, there's quite a few options. I definitely like my 0 days to freshen up. A really nice community. Everyone we've met has been so accommodating and friendly, and so the southern section is hard. It's very difficult. There's lots of ups, lots of downs, lots of mountains, very rocky. But the people you meet are amazing, and I finally got a trail name, Camel. So it's been fun. Best part about the AZT is having a campfire at the end of the night. Yeah.
That is
Oh, maybe they're mating.
yeah, they're moving. Because one is moving, the other one is not. I see the second egg.
And they're definitely mating, yeah. What the heck is in the desert? The rattler right in the bush. Here, step right here so you can hear it. No. He's right in that bush. And he doesn't want us to pass. And we don't really have anywhere to go. At mile, like 270? Yeah, at mile 270. In 2 days' time, we'll be in Superior. This is a 100-mile stretch, or 95-mile stretch from Oracle to Superior. It's moderate. There's no rough climbs. We saw most of our snakes here. We saw 4 rattler snakes. We saw a Gila monster on the stretch. We saw our other Gila monster before Sahara National Park. We saw a turtle on the stretch, a random tortoise just climbing up a mountain with no water nearby. We just saw 2 javelinas. So the stretch is very hot, but it's pretty much level the whole way, which is really nice because you just come from the Sahara and the Catalinas, which are really rough in elevation, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and then you have the stretch from Oracle to Superior, which is pretty flat. Oh yeah, the water. The water is in short supply. I think this would be ranked as easy if it wasn't for the water. You're gonna be drinking out of tanks and cow water pretty much the whole stretch. A couple times we ran into the resupply boxes where Trail Angels are amazing, and they put on gallons of water for the thru-hikers, which is so great. Sometimes you're not always lucky. Sometimes you get there and all the water's gone. This is the Alamo Canyon. So pretty before you reach Superior. It's only a 2,000 footer, so it's not bad, and you get to see amazing views. Here we go again, 7th rattlesnake we see on the trail, and we have no idea how we're gonna get around him. He's ready to attack. Okay, how are we gonna get around him? It rained a couple days ago, so, I mean, the wildflowers were already coming out, but now they're blooming. Right now we're right past Superior. Superior was 4 or 5 miles off trail. It's a big trailhead with lots of hiking, so we were able to arrange a ride from the trailhead. After Superior, if you're going north, you go into the Superstition Mountains, which is where we're headed right now. It's very beautiful. We're doing it in spring, so it's absolutely breathtaking. Stretch from Superior to Roosevelt, which is like roughly 46 miles, I believe. Well, so far it's got a good amount of water. Hopefully this stretch will be good. The stretch from Oracle to Roosevelt was pretty scarce with water. So walking over a bridge in Roosevelt is part of the trail. Roosevelt is right before your 115-mile stretch from Roosevelt to Pine. We're just gonna walk all the way from Roosevelt to Pine, and it'll take about, well, this is day 1, but we're gonna estimate if we do 15 miles every day, it'll take 8 days. It's pretty tough. There's 3 mountains in between Roosevelt and Pine. So today we gotta climb up a 4,000-foot mountain. So it's a pretty rough 115 miles. The restock in Roosevelt, there's not much going on. As soon as you get off the trail, there's the marina where most people send their package because it's not far off the trail. There's a post office, but it's 11 miles down the road. and there's accommodation. So we did that, we hitched it, and I had a package in the post office, and we stayed at a motel, which was pretty nice. There is free camping, but no amenities right at the marina. So if you have a package there, you can camp and take a 0 day if you want for free. You also have the option to camp 4 miles down the road for $8 with amenities, so you have a bathroom and a shower. So there's a couple options in Roosevelt, but not much going on. Just went through the Mazatals. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. I think this past year, it's 2017, a lot of trail maintenance crews came in. You could tell that a lot of the shrubs on the trail were cut. If you're a northbound hiker, it's nothing that you can't handle. And right now, the walk up to Pine is pretty flat. It's very gradual. I think it's the longest stretch on this whole trail where there isn't towns, but there are options. There's Tonto Basin and there's Payson. A couple people got off the trail. There's a highway that is after the Four Peaks, and you can hitchhike from there. So you go to Payson, but it's quite far off trail. Made it more than halfway, yay! Mile 400, what was it? I think 440. Woo! Okay, 20-mile day today. We are in between Pine and Flagstaff, and this stretch is amazing. It's a lot easier, so if you're going northbound, the first 450 miles are the toughest, and then when you come out of Pine, you've got just a little bits of uphill. They're pretty steep, but they don't last very long. And then you get on the, I don't know how to pronounce it, Mogollon Rim or something. Once you reach up there, it's pretty much flat all the way to Flagstaff. So we just finished the last of uphill, and now it's flat for many, many miles, which is amazing. And it's not rocky anymore. The first 450 miles is pretty rocky and rugged, and now we're in forest and walking on pine needles. As far as campgrounds go, there's not too many on the trail. I mean, you see them a lot in the beginning, but then they really diminish. And most of the time, at least for my luck, you know, you'll see them passing during the day, but then when you want to find one at night, you just never can find one. And you're walking all these extra miles to find one, you still never do. So you make shifts. I've got to say, I've made shift more campsites than I've found. Just really happy to get to a campground, and saw a bunch of elk today. Didn't see any bears this whole trip. Didn't see bobcats, mountain lions. Saw about 15 snakes. I think 9 of them were rattlesnakes. Saw 4 Gila monsters, and now saw about 7 elk. That's about it. See a bunch of cows all the time. Okay.
So me and my partner ended up stopping right before Flagstaff. We did not finish the last 200 miles of the trail. We stopped, because it was unbearably cold and we were miserable. 2, that 2017 year, they ended up having this big mudslide in the Grand Canyon on the North Rim, and it ended up killing someone, and they ended up shutting it down for at least 3 weeks, I think. So we wouldn't have been able to go down and up the Grand Canyon. We would have had to surpass it. So that was like one of the biggest things we wanted to do, and we were ready. After 600 miles, we were very proud of what we did, and we felt good about it. Instead of thinking of the 200 miles that we didn't do, we thought of the 600 miles that we did do. A couple things that I didn't brush up on was that you can have fires pretty much the entire way in the entire trail, but just keep in mind, if you do have one, to make sure that you are careful. You don't want to start a forest fire. That should be pretty obvious. The next is permits. You only need 2 permits on the entire trail, just in Saguaro National Park and Grand Canyon National Park. Saguaro, you can email your permit in, and it's like a few dollars. You can hike the entire length of this of the Arizona Trail going through Saguaro National Park in one day, but it's very, very difficult, and I would not recommend it at all. You literally have to go up 6,000 feet and then down 6,000 feet, and it would be a really, really, really long day. There are 2 campsites that you can sign a permit for. Grassy something, it's like halfway up it, and then all the way up at the top is Manning Camps, where me and my partner stayed. Grand Canyon, I didn't get to go there, but I did the research, and you call a week and a half before you get there, and you let them know you are an AZT through hiker, and they will give you preference. Everyone else that wants to hike the southbound to the south rim to the north rim, they have to sign up for a lottery because so many people want to do it. But if you're an AZT through hiker, it's different. They put you in the equestrian or overflow, so you have to mention you're an AZT through hiker, give them at least a week and a half notice, and if someone tells you no, then you didn't speak to the right person and call again, and you should be able to stay in one of the campsites, in one of the campgrounds from the south rim to the north rim. If you don't find any luck at all, you can do it in one day. It's just going to be a really, really, really long day. I mentioned before that you do not need to ship any packages, and that is true. You don't need to, but if you're going to just do one, Roosevelt would be the place to do it, and to make sure that you give your box more than enough time, because it is in the middle of nowhere and it takes extra time to get there. So if you're gonna ship one box, make it Roosevelt, but the rest you should be fine. Another thing I forgot to mention is private land. Now, most of the trail is actually through private land and private owners, and they were nice enough to allow the Arizona Trail to go through their land. So make sure you do not have any impact at all. So most of the time there's going to be a gate, you're going to open it, and then you're going to close it every single time. And also, if you see water on their private land, you're going to know when you're on private land, because you're going to be going through a gate and then you're going to exit a gate. So if you're in between those 2 points and you see water, do not take the water unless if you are like about to die. You know, these people are nice enough to open up their land for us, and we need to respect them. And we open the gate, we close it, you walk through their land, you open the gate, you close it, and then you're on your way. That's a very, very, very key point. And one last tip I can give you is to make sure that you really take care of your feet. When you feel a hot spot coming on, make sure you take care of it. Make sure you massage your feet. Do whatever it is you've got to do. Your feet will tell you when they're in pain. Stop, rub them. When you actually see the rivers, let your feet soak. Take advantage of 0 days. When you get into town, just try to minimize your walking and really take care of yourself. And that includes the Arizona Trail video. Hope you guys learned something and are more prepared now for your big adventure. If you liked this video, this is a newer channel, and I'm going to be putting out more travel videos, so hit that subscribe button down below, and see you next time.